October, Friday the 13th, 1989, Jimmy Wade Martin's body was found on a street in the small town of Bonne Terre, Missouri. When there are witnesses, a murder weapon, and a taped confession, how exactly does a murder become a cold case?
It started at that little bar.
This case is not ended by any stretch of the imagination.
A lot of people in that town's not going to
Rumor has it was
big brawl, big bar fight.
County Jail.
We have been working so hard on this.
I can't be silent anymore.
You know that guy that got killed here last night?
There was rumors going around like the next
We
day.
started doing a lot with Facebook.
the question is, what happened to Jimmy Wade Martin?
From Blueburn Productions, this is Small Town Forgotten. I'm your host, Chris Hulsey.
I want them to know that I didn't do this, and I want them to believe this in their heart, know without a doubt, and whatever I can do to help them know this, I'm going to.
Thanks to the St. Francis County prosecutor's press release and the subsequent news coverage, like St. Louis's Fox 2 News, Yahoo, MSN, and various national news outlets, our listening audience has jumped to twice what it was formerly. And with that jump, of course, we've received more questions and comments, a lot of them pertaining to David Bryan White specifically. Is he still a suspect? Does he know who did it? Why is he in prison now? In December, the twins were able to play the first episode of the podcast for David, and then I had an opportunity to interview him myself.
I'm glad you got to hear it.
Huh?
I said, I'm glad you got to hear it. Me and Mariah were trying to figure out a way because
This
it was
call
like
is from a correctional
there were
facility
stamps
and
for
may
every
be
30
monitored
seconds.
and recorded.
So, how much more time do you have?
I still got like 35 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to introduce you to my cousin Chris, okay? He's the voice of the podcast. Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to put him on.
Hello, David.
Hello, Chris.
Hi. Wow, it's surreal to be talking to you.
Very, very.
How,
Actually,
what did you think about the podcast? I know it's probably,
I like.
you liked it?
I like. Yes, I did.
I first off, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you talking to me. Honestly, that's,
Well, you don't have to say. I've been waiting for this and hoping for this for years.
I really appreciate you being willing to talk and help us out.
It's no problem. It's not a problem at all. It's it's been a long time in coming. And, I'm, like I said, it's a blessing. It's been rough. All these years it's been rough. Because it's like, why won't they do nothing? And they just keep coming, at me. And why won't they go for the truth? Like the tall guy. Who is this tall guy? And there's so much other things,
Yeah,
there's this
absolutely.
tall guy that they see from seeing and stuff. And just, I was 24 years old when this happened. I'm 56 now, and I was a scared to death kid. I was scared to death. They were, but it wasn't. I heard where they said that it was Jimmy that came from the bar that night, and it wasn't. He wasn't chasing me.
This
I
call is
didn't
from a
see
correctional
him
facility and may
know-
be monitored and recorded.
even know that until I went to my preliminary hearing and I stood up and turned around to the family members and told them that is not the person that I hit. And my attorney told me to shut up. But the ones that was chasing me was a guy that I later found out was a guy named and a guy named
How did you find that out?
I didn't know from my attorney.
Okay. Were you involved in a fight that night at all, other than that
Yeah, I
specific
tried
incident?
to stop them from beating on one guy. I tried to stop them three from beating on one guy. And I didn't know none of these people, didn't know none of their names till all this happened. And then whenever I tried to stop them from beating on him. That's when they all came chasing after me.
So the people were beating on.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you name? Did you know any of the people that were there that night?
I didn't know. No, I didn't know anybody. I was only in town for 14 hours when they came and arrested.
And what were you in town for?
Visiting my mom, bringing my son down to visit my mom.
Okay. And so
I was actually born in Bonterra.
Oh, okay. Can you kind of talk me through? So you were walking by, there was a fight going on. You attempted to break it up. What happened after that, to the best of your recollection?
Oh, all hell just broke loose. They just come at me with, all kinds of weapons, and I just ran, and until I fell down. Man, there's so much more to it, and see, it's like the tall guy. I knew that. My attorney told me that.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
Guy that left from the scene, and this tall guy leaped from the scene or whatever, and went underneath the street light. That's really all I know. I've been pretty much kept in the dark on everything. It just seems like that's how everybody wants it.
Had you ever met Jimmy? Ever?
Never in life.
Did you, after seeing a photo of him, did you see him that night at all?
No.
You did not see him at all. So
that's when I stood up in the courtroom. I stood up in the courtroom in my preliminary hearing, and I turned around. I'm assuming it was family members of Jimmy's, and I turned around and I told them, that is not the man I hit. And my attorney told me to shut up, and then I went back to jail. I said it again, and they took me back to jail. Kept me in jail all that time. I seen some pretty gory stuff there. With a guy named hanging himself right next to me. I woke up and found him. Just all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's been bad. It's been bad.
David, why was your case dismissed, to your knowledge?
All I know is they came to me and they drew blood from me, and after the DNA came back, they said if DNA comes back, what we believe will come back, we're going to release you today. And I said, okay, let's do it. And they took my DNA, and that was it. That's all I know.
And then you were released after that?
I was released right after that.
Did you see, or did you have any names of any witnesses that were involved?
No.
No,
I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know anybody there.
So you had
anybody,
you didn't know a single person. You didn't hear of any witness testimonies.
No.
Did anybody implicate you other than yourself that night or that next day? Did anybody implicate you in the crime?
I have no idea if anybody did or not. I think the only one that was implicated was the guy that they seen go underneath the light. It's the only ones that I have any idea that were involved in something that bad. I mean, that was bad. That was bad. It had to be personal. In my opinion, it had to be personal.
I agree. Tell me about, and I've talked to Andrea and Angela about this too. What was it like the first time you met Andrea and Angela?
It was all I thought it was awesome, and they because for them to even listen to anything that I had to say, that that was a blessing. That was a blessing. I don't care what anybody says. I just got hit by an 18-wheeler on my motorcycle in Waco, Texas in March 31st, and I've been wondering why it didn't kill me. And then whenever I met the girls, I was like, well, maybe this is why, and thank you. Because I want them to know that I didn't do this, and I want them to believe this in their heart and know without a doubt and whatever I could do to help them. That's my, maybe that's why I was kept alive. Maybe that's why God let me live through that. I don't know, but I'm, like I said, I pretty gory thing in my life, and throughout all this, and experienced really crazy things, and knowing that I'm innocent. And I believe that our visit went well. I thought they were very good kids, and I think Jimmy would be very, very proud of them. Like I said, I don't know him either, but I know if they were my daughters and I was their father, I would be damn proud of them.
I agree with you.
Bless their hearts.
David, I'm going to ask you another question, and I think you've already answered it, but I want to ask you: did you kill Jimmy Wade Martin?
No, I did not. No, I did not. Most definitely not. Yeah, that's one of the things that really, that this is such a blessing for, because it's, I'm pretty sick, and I'm surrounded by this coronavirus here, so I might not make it out of here. And if I die and they know that I'm innocent of this, that's going to be a great blessing to me. I can die peacefully.
This call is from a correctional
Okay.
facility.
I want to ask specifically about, you had swung a timber or a board or something and did hit somebody, and you were under the impression that possibly it was what? There's several reports. Was it a landscape timber? Was it a 4x4? Was it a 2x4? Because
yes, it was a 4x4 piece of landscape timber.
Okay, so it was
when
like
they were chasing me, I fell down and it was there.
So it was like a 4x4 that was rounded off on the sharp corners. So it was a landscape timber, like that you would put mulch in.
Yeah, it would have put.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think you put mulch in. You didn't do that.
And it was just laying on the ground, or you pulled it out of some landscaping, or?
No, it was laying on the ground. It was laying on the ground where I fell.
Okay.
And there was no running after that. There was no running. I was surrounded by the three of them, and there was no running from that.
I think you had said something about a baseball bat.
Yes.
Yes. So who had a baseball bat, or what do you remember about a ball bat?
He had the baseball bat. The big guy, the great big guy.
Had the baseball
But
bat.
he was big to me back then. He was
Sure.
He was big to me. Like I said, I was only 24-year-old.
And he was chasing
He
you.
was big. Yeah, and he was chasing me. Him and the two others. And he kept trying to hit me with that baseball bat. And that one that jumped in at me and got hit with the stick.
How has that specific night affected your life over the last 31 years?
Oh my God! It's still affecting my life. It's still affecting my life.
What?
And I've seen and experienced a lot of things that people should have to see, or nightmares stuff. It's just that alone has been a nightmare, heart wrenching, And I've thought about the girls ever since. I thought they were 13 years old when this happened. I think that's what the newspaper back then said, and I felt so for them, because I had kids back then too, and I can't imagine what my kids would have thought or felt. And my kids are have had to live it for the 31 years too, of losing their father, and my daughter in contact with Andrea and Angie has also had to live without her father, and lost her mother in 2001. So yeah, it's been a miserable life. I know what they're going through. I feel so for them. Again, it's just a blessing, and I'm glad that. I believe that I had some angels that looked over me, and I believe that Jimmy's one of them. And I believe that in my heart, and I believe he's been looking over me all these years and protecting me all these years. And I believe I was free from the beginning, because of Jimmy. And, you know, and I don't care what anybody says or thinks about that or feels about that. I believe that he's an angel, and I believe that he is protecting me and looking over me for all these years. You know, people thought I was crazy whenever they dismissed them charges because I had a dream one night, and I told my mom about this, and I told James Kellogg and Junior Kellogg and Rosemary Kellogg when they came to pick me up from the jail. When they were taking me there, I said it's going to be okay. That Jimmy came to me in my dreams, told me that it was going to be okay, and I'm going to be released. And they all thought I was crazy. And then when I was released, I was like, I told you. And I believe, I think that Jimmy's got a lot to do with us getting together and, you know, and trying to work together and get this fixed.
Well, my hope is that we can use all of us together, and you especially, since you were the only one that was even there that night, to get something figured out on this case and get some closure for Andrea and Angela. That's the goal of all this.
Exactly. This is meant to happen.
What's up, True Crime Podcast listener? Hope you're enjoying Small Town Forgotten, a podcast that takes place in my hometown of Bonne Terre, Missouri. Whenever you need a break from the true crime genre, come on over and see us at Mostly Superheroes, a podcast that discusses TV and film, old and new, things like Airplane or Game of Thrones. We talk about it all. Come see us at mostlysuperheroes.com and listen where you get your podcast. Enjoy the rest of the show.
You see, David Brian White said that he would do anything to help the twins find justice for their dad. He believes that Jimmy Wade himself had visited him in his dreams, letting him know that he will be okay. David said that he felt fortunate to be included. When law enforcement reached out to us, we discussed with them our doubts about David Brian White being Jimmy Wade's murderer, and once they had looked at the evidence themselves, they seemed to have come to the same conclusion. They told us that what would be helpful in eliminating David as a suspect altogether would be to have him agree to take a polygraph test. David Brian White passes the polygraph, and law enforcement can move past David Brian White. So we asked him, and he said yes. And then he said no. At the most pivotal moment in the investigation, David Brian White reneged. David has been in and out of prison since his early 20s. As he said, he's in his 50s now. Even if you don't know anyone who has had that life experience, it's almost a stereotype on TV. The prisoner or ex-con who distrusts law enforcement. But David Brian White, an individual who served at least 3 years for a crime he didn't commit, he has even more reason to distrust the system in any form. He said yes to the twins and myself, but once the Highway Patrol was involved with him directly, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Yes, I know it looks suspicious, that he would now refuse what he promised he would do, but I understand. I really do. He's scared. He knows he didn't do it. I think he even believes that we don't think he did it. But how can he trust the system that put him in jail in the first place? The twins were frustrated and surprised. They felt the need to talk to him again, reminding him of the goal, asking him to have faith.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
He really didn't say a whole lot. He just sent me a copy of the Daily Journal of what it said anyway.
Yeah.
That's about it. Hoping you guys can tell me a little something.
I mean, they've been investigating and talking to different people and things like that, but I mean, me and Angela's just hoping something will happen soon. I don't know.
They haven't gave us any kind of timeline or anything like that when they might, or anybody who they've been talking to or anything?
Just people that were possibly there that night.
Chris said they was talking to a lot of different people who've been coming forward, which is awesome, you know?
Yeah.
But they really haven't said too much, man. It still got me a little shaky.
And they're working with us, and so I know they don't think that, it was you. So I don't know where that's coming from, but the thing of it is, like, without you, it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
I feel like if you were on our side, it would be better for us, like
right.
if you cooperated with them, that way they could get to the truth. And I feel like they would have a stronger case if they had you on our side,
Okay, what do they want me to do? Do you know?
Well, I know they were just gonna get a polygraph, and then that way they could rule you out, and then they would have better hold on the investigation as far as going after other people once they prove that that you passed the lie detector test. And like I was telling Chris, I said, even if he did hit him, it was self-defense.
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
All they need is to get you out of the way so they could go full steam ahead. And it's like a roadblock right now. Everything that we thought is being confirmed. So, my dad had no defensive wounds, and the pathologist said he thinks he was struck from behind, and if you were going in circles with it, he would have defensive wounds. So he said, I think he didn't see it coming. So everything that we've uncovered does not point to you, and the cops, they realize that. And this is the furthest we've ever gotten, and it's so close.
They're supposed to be bringing visitation back up. You had visits if you guys could come up. I'm going to go tomorrow and ask a caseworker tomorrow for a couple visiting farms. If you want me to, and then I'll send them to you. That way,
okay.
It'd be easier and stuff like that for us to talk, whatever. But
and I know
you're. More time.
I know that. I try to put myself in your shoes and think about, not only, we all suffered from this.
Right, exactly.
You sat in jail for 3 years.
Right.
And I think that, they're just so close. Do you know who is? Yes.
Who is? Man, I've heard that name. I mean, I've been through a whole lot. I've had a lot of injuries over the years, and the name just sounds so familiar. I don't know why, but it does. I'll never forget it. I mean, I still see that in my night. I still have nightmares over it, and I still see his face today. Like he was standing right in front of me. But
I promise that they're not going for you. I can promise you that.
We have given them enough.
I don't see how they could, but but then again, I don't. They have already won. I'm gonna try to get a hold of my attorney this week. I'm gonna make, cause I really want to take that polygraph. I really, I don't see what it could hurt. I wish I was talking to you in person. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not just scared of the police. I'm scared of the people around too. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want to. Man, I don't want the same thing end up happening to me too.
We are so close, and if you could just work with us, it would mean the world to us. And not only that, it would help the case out so much. And you have my word. I promise you.
That's why I'm at, Andrew. It's just like I told them. Before I die, if there's anything that I want to do more, it's to help you guys with it. And You know, if I can do that before I die, I'll feel good about myself. You know what I mean?
And I sometimes feel like
say there's one thing I've done right in my life other than to make beautiful babies, and that's to, you know, to help you guys with this.
Well, and you know, whenever you do right, good comes to you, you know?
Right. And I believe that, you know? And I believe I'm protected. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I believe that I'm protected. I know God is on my side. He's been on my side all these years. And He's got me through this all the way through this all these years. And I believe He's brought us together for a reason. And that reason is, you know, to help. And I feel
This call is from a correctional facility and may be monitored and recorded.
I'm be honest, I'm scared. You know, I want to help, but I'm scared. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I'm scared. You know, I'm scared to death, you know, and
it would mean a lot because, I mean, we worked so hard to get to where we are. And I just want justice for him so bad.
Yeah.
And we're close. We really are.
Just count me in. Just count me in. I mean, we're going to make it happen one way or the other. Somehow, some way, we're going to make it happen. Please bear with me and please understand. And I'm going to do whatever I can. You know,
we're here.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared for my life and everything. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of...
well, we're behind you. We're behind you 100%. Know that.
Okay.
I promise you that.
All right.
And so is Small Town Forgotten.
So he has said yes again. I wish I could say at the time of this recording that it has already happened, but it hasn't. Oh, he still says that he's in, and these things do take time, but when it comes down to the moment, will he follow through? It might not seem much to you, taking a polygraph test, or cooperating with the police. But remember, this is a man who spent 3 years in prison waiting for a trial that never happened. He told the St. Francis County Sheriff's Department the very weekend of the murder that Jimmy Wade was not the person that he hit, and they didn't believe him. Or maybe they did believe him, but felt that a stranger confessing was a lot more palatable than a local killing another local. Again, no one working on the case then is working on the case now, but that fact doesn't matter. David Brian White doesn't see law enforcement as individual people. He sees them as a system bent on keeping him in prison. I've never asked him why he is in prison now, although it's not much of a stretch to conclude that his 3 years in prison for this crime could have contributed to the cycle of his life. What did Andrea say? Whatever good you do, good comes to you. Do you believe that? Taking a polygraph test may not seem like an act of bravery, but it could be. The risk is real. Polygraph tests track your physiological reactions to a series of questions. How can you know it will accurately read that you're telling the truth if the entire situation causes you anxiety? In short, it causes physiological reactions. Again, you would have to trust the system. Trust the people giving you the test. That they understand the variance of error. That truth will prevail. Trusting them is brave. And he would be doing it for the twins. Because of his compassion for them. Because of his goodness. One more person tipping the scales to justice for Jimmy Wade Martin. I can only believe that goodness will come back to him. Break his cycle. Bring him redemption. Next time on Small Town Forgotten, I talk to people who were at the bar that night.
And deep down in my heart, I still think it's... everybody in that town suspected him. That's why I don't understand. Why wasn't he questioned? Why wasn't he taken in? Why ain't he behind bars?
Small Town Forgotten is presented by Blueburn Productions, writer and executive producer Vanessa Martin, creative and executive producer Ashton Hulsey, director and executive producer Sean Lee Martin, and myself, Small Town Forgotten is produced in association with Vagrant Media Productions, Brett Wiley, Jake Delaloy, Caleb Cook. Podcast distribution and digital strategy by Logan Janis with Kerrigan Ventures. Original music written and performed by Todd Hulsey. For more information, please visit smalltownforgotten.com. Please like, follow, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Special thanks to the twins, Andrea and Angela, for their perseverance. I'm your host, Chris Hulsey. Thanks for listening to Small Town Forgotten.